Did you know that Athena's greatest enemy in the Heaven Saga might not be Zeus, but actually a god who has been hiding in the shadows of time since the mythological era, manipulating every holy war we've seen up until now? Hello, Knights and Amazons. Welcome to the Semperquist Saber channel. I'm Wes, and today we're going to reveal who the real villains of the Heaven Saga are, showing that Zeus might actually be an ally, and that other enemies could be using his name. Prepare your Cosmo and comment how long you've waited for the Heaven Saga. Remember to like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and enjoy the video. For a long time, we believed that Zeus would be humanity's final executioner, the last enemy of Seiya and his friends and Knights of the Zodiac. But the truth, behind the curtains of Mount Olympus, turns out to be much more complex and wicked than that. The central piece of this machinery of hatred isn't the Lord of Thunder, but rather Hera, the Queen of the Gods. As we know, it is said that Zeus, in the mythological era, left the earth under the protection of his beloved daughter Athena, and after that, he departed to the ends of the universe and simply disappeared. Therefore, Zeus wouldn't be at the top of Mount Olympus in the current era, but there would certainly be someone impersonating him. The goddess with the greatest ability to do this would be Hera, who is his wife. Hera never accepted Zeus's abandonment, and because of that, she channeled her fury toward Athena, who always prioritized protecting humans over the gods. In mythology, Hera is known for her relentless nature and her intense jealousy, not just of Zeus, but of any influence that threatens purity, the absolute supremacy of the celestial gods. She is moving the pieces to turn all of Olympus against the sanctuary. Athena, after facing Hades and surviving the trials of Kronos in the past, is exhausted. That's exactly when Hera strikes. She will not only use brute force, but also divine diplomacy to convince other gods that the existence of humanity is a heresy that needs to be extinguished. Hera is the mastermind behind the rhetoric that humans have become too dangerous, because they have raised their hands against the gods. She is the manipulator who whispers in the ears of other deities, inflaming a celestial army for a total cleansing of the earth. But I believe that the Heaven Saga will not be limited to just that. Hera will not be the only goddess who is against Athena for personal reasons. While Hera works in the light of Olympus, there is a much more insidious threat acting in the shadows. We're talking about Kerr, the terrible goddess of fate and violent death. If you followed the events of the special manga chapters titled Saint Seiya, Origin and Destiny, you know that this deity doesn't mess around. Kerr is the younger sister of Thanatos and Hypnos, and her influence over Athena's army is both historic and devastating. It was Kerr who planted the seed of evil in the heart of Gemini Saga, sending an evil spirit to possess him from birth. She is responsible for turning the most honorable knight into a traitor, unleashing the rebellion that almost wiped out the sanctuary even before the war against Poseidon. Kerr's goal has always been to weaken Athena's defenses from within, creating chaos and discord among humans. In these special chapters, it is also revealed that Kerr was responsible for negotiating with the souls of the dead gold saints who were in the underworld. She was the one responsible for recruiting them and inserting them into Hades' army to attack the sanctuary. In the Zeus saga, Kerr will be one of the most dangerous enemies. She remains active, acting as the second villainous force. While Hera manipulates the gods, Kerr manipulates the fate of mortals. She may be influencing the remaining knights, like Jabu, Sheena, Marin, and the others, or influencing the fate of Seiya, Shiryu, Shun, Yoga, and Ikki, who are without their memories. She could even resurrect old traumas to ensure that the sanctuary remains vulnerable. She is the personification of misfortune, and her presence ensures that none of Athena's plans are carried out without a terrible cost. But if you think Hera and Kerr are the top villains of this saga, I'm sorry to inform you, but you're very mistaken. Get ready, because in my opinion, the representative of the third enemy faction in this story will probably be the most dangerous, that is, Kronos. The god of time, Kronos. He is a being who transcends the understanding of the Olympian gods themselves. He doesn't have a defined physical body. He manifests as a nebula or an hourglass of time, as well as a sea of galaxies stretching into the past and the future. At the end of Next Dimension, we saw that Athena's actions to save Seiya altered the flow of time and almost destroyed the universe. This triggered the divine punishment from Olympus. At the end of the Next Dimension saga, we see the witch Kate saying that everything went according to what the god of time, Kronos, had planned. With this, we understand that the consequences that started this new battle were manipulated by the god of time, who is beyond the other gods. Kronos foresaw and manipulated even the actions of Hera and Kerr for his own benefit. That's why this theory is gaining strength. The theory is that Kronos will be the ultimate villain of this saga. His interests are enigmatic. He may want a total reset of the universe. Or maybe he's just using Athena and the other gods as pieces in a game across time for his own entertainment. The fact is, against Kronos, it's not enough to raise your Cosmo to the 7th or 8th sense. You have to face the very structure of existence itself. He is the ultimate threat, because he can't be killed in a conventional way. If he decides that humanity's time is over, the Zeus saga could become the last saga in the entire story. Here's where the biggest twist of all comes in. Where is Zeus in the middle of all this chaos? The answer is that Zeus is probably not on Olympus. There are strong indications that the Lord of Olympus has exiled himself, or is watching humanity under an immortal disguise. Maybe to test the worth of his children and of human beings? Or perhaps to protect his beloved daughter Athena and to stop Kronos' plans at the right moment. That's why, contrary to what many think, Zeus may appear not as an enforcer, but as a savior. This alliance would change everything completely. The power dynamic. Zeus could grant Athena's knights the legendary Kamui, the ultimate divine armors. These are the armors of the gods that Zeus himself sealed in the mythological era. With Zeus's power on Athena's side, the sanctuary would have a real chance against the fury of the deities who manipulated the final war. Gods like Apollo and Artemis, who seem strict, but they showed a side of concern for their sister Athena. They could very well become strong allies of the goddess of just war throughout the story. That's why the Saga of Zeus should bring the redemption of these two characters. Artemis may realize that Hera's manipulation is leading Olympus to destruction and decide to help the sanctuary in secret. As for Apollo, the sun god, his overwhelming power could be Zeus's right-hand man in this counteroffensive. Having the sun and moon on Earth's side against the shadows of Kerr and the void of Kronos would be a narrative spectacle, unprecedented in Masami Kurumada's work. The Saga of Zeus promises to be the pinnacle of Saint Seiya, tying up loose ends from decades of history. We will have 3 groups of villains: Olympus manipulated by Hera, the cursed fate of Kerr, and the absolute control of Kronos over events. With the hope that Zeus, the most powerful of the gods, can see the light in humanity and appear as a great ally of Athena. So, what did you think of this theory? Will Zeus really fight alongside Athena, or is he just an even greater puppet master than Kronos? Leave your opinion down below. And of course, thank you for watching this video until the end. See you next time. Burn your Cosmo to infinity.